Ah, Bugs Bunny, you've done it again.
What? 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 What?
Luke, what are you doing here?
I never left. I don't know. It was cold, but I slept in here.
Well, listen, if you're going to be here anyway, help me with one of these videos. I got a philosophical question. I think you can help me with this. Come on. All right, so now we're comfortable. You're out of the closet, and
Yes.
you have a blue moon. So we have a libation, and cheers, my friend.
Cheers, Bill.
So what am I drinking? I'm drinking a Japanese whiskey, the Suntory from You Only Live Twice. That's what they say. They say a lot.
Dun, dun, dun.
I didn't ask you to join.
He came in way early. I've never tried that. I'm gonna have to.
Would you like to try it?
Yeah, sure.
This thing is almost cleared up. It's okay. It's.
Why don't you take your top off?
Towards the tail end, at least. All right. So clearly we have some libations.
That's fantastic.
Luke, I wanted to explore a sort of a philosophical conversation with you, and that is the whole idea of there seems to be more and more let's call it a gravitational pull to people becoming, or at least interested in, the Bond lifestyle. Let's get your point of view right off the bat. Why do you think this is?
So, I can tell you one thing it's not. Probably, for me, it was the video games. That's not a thing. So I would say nowadays, as infrequent as the films are, escapism, when they do come out, they like to go see something big budget in the theater. I would say, you've got a handsome actor, great locations.
So why is the Bond lifestyle the gravitational pull, not the Bond movies? We're not cutting this. Keep going.
Bond lifestyle. Okay, well,
you've been invited into a conversation with two friends.
Oh, really? Okay. Yeah, because first off, you can't.
We only have 30 minutes of film.
You can't explore the Bond lifestyle without exploring the films.
Oh, I see what you tap dance there.
Yeah. So I would just say this. Okay. I always use the Sunspell polo as an example.
Oh.
I am somebody personally. I take really, really good care of my things.
Yes.
And once I tried on something like the Sunspell polo, which for the Bond lifestyle is just a luxury brand, an elevated brand, you're kind of like, I don't ever want to wear anything else.
So it's an experience. It's an elevation of your experience.
I gotta sneeze.
Sneeze. You have to understand something. People, this is as if you were invited to my house, you took up a seat.
It's throwing me off. It's like
right across from us, and you're having a conversation. It's a three-way conversation. Oh my gosh, I'm going to edit that out.
Okay.
Anyways, definitely going to edit that out.
The Bond lifestyle. Who doesn't like nice cars? Who doesn't like good locations? Who doesn't like to travel? Who doesn't like nice clothes? But then I think I know one of the biggest things you have heard with the channel, one of the biggest things we see on Instagram, and then oddly enough, one of your most successful series is the Frugal Bond. So yes, you can want to do the Bond lifestyle thing with the actual brands and the actual car and the actual locations. But once you kind of see it, there's way more to it. You and I were in Zara yesterday. We saw very similar things to a Sunspell polo or a gray suit. It kind of helps you elevate your lifestyle. It doesn't necessarily mean you need to spend the money.
Dude,
but you can elevate.
I feel like that sneeze actually blew
did.
your brain back into alignment.
And I don't have vertigo anymore. I don't feel like I have to go to the bathroom anymore.
It's like he's going through his whole weekend. But I will tell you, I think you're right. I think that First of all, you have a really good point. The nice thing that people are finding out about the Bond lifestyle at any age, any gender, any political proclivity is that you actually don't need the luxurious wallet of
Right.
James Bond,
Right.
the unlimited wallet of MI6. You can actually sort of fabricate and replicate that lifestyle. And it's little tiny moments. Like, it's not big branded moments necessarily. I'm not even wearing a watch right now. It's these, how do you make a coffee like Bond with a Chemex?
Loser.
It's okay. I'll get over it, so should you. But I mean, the philosophy I also think is that it is open to anybody that wants to be a part of it. It's not this exclusive club like you've got to have this watch or this shirt. It is literally open to anybody that wants to insert a Bond moment in their everyday life and make it a part of their own lifestyle.
Yeah, I mean, very well said, per usual.
That's what I do.
It's kind of, when you were saying that, I was thinking too, it's watching the Bond films or the Bond lifestyle, it's just kind of teaching you, like, as a guy, you're like, okay, that's how I should wear a suit. That's how I should wear jeans. These are the type of shoes I should wear with. I apply these things to when I go into work. I'll go into work wearing a suit and I'll be the only person in the entire building with a suit. And people think I'm interviewing. And I just, as a Bond response, I'll say,
That's it.
keep them on their toes.
By the way, you're coming up with gems now. Again, that sneeze. I owe it to everything.
Imagine if I sneezed again.
You'd be a genius. But I will say this. There is a lack, and this is an unfortunate thing, and I'm just going to say it. I think there's a lack of positive and good role models
Yes.
for men and women to emulate, etiquette, how to dress, how to connect, how to the simplest things in life that we find so joyous and so much pleasure. And so who do we turn to? Well, we turn to friends, we turn to family, and yes, we turn to James Bond, and we sort of experiment with that, and lo and behold, suddenly you're living the Bond lifestyle.
Yeah. And one thing I will touch on is
Oh.
he's barefoot, by the way. I am not. I got Star Wars socks on. May the 4th
What did
be
they
with
say?
you. They say, get out of here.
Okay.
One of the things I'll touch on is, yes, Bond has the pinnacle of luxury. I mean, a lot of people hear luxury, they think Gucci, Louis Vuitton. I'm talking brands, even, in my opinion, higher brow than that. And I think what makes them higher brow is they're kind of a little unknown sometimes, a little boutique-y and things like that. But just because he wears these things, is there ever a point in time in any of the films where he's like forcing his style on somebody or making a comment like, oh, you're, like almost making fun of somebody for not living a luxury lifestyle?
I don't think so.
It just so happens to be how they decided to treat this character. So with that said, it's like, if you're a Bond fan or you're in the Bond community and you're wearing, a Fossil watch or a Seiko watch. Seiko is a Bond brand, of course. But we'll say something like a Fossil watch. If you're 18, 19, you're wearing a Fossil watch, somebody like David or I would not be like, oh, it's not an Omega. It'd be more so like, not many 18 or 19-year-olds are wearing watches, or kids in high school wearing watches. So it's just the fact that you decided to wear a watch or pay closer attention to how you dress or behave because of Bond. That to me is the real Bond lifestyle.
So maybe you've then uncovered another aspect. The original question of why people are gravitating so much is because it is, it's open for everyone, it's connected, but it doesn't need to be about the financial aspect or the brand, etc.
Yeah.
But I will say this too, we cannot ignore the fact that people right now are watching us on YouTube. Social media has played an incredible role. If you and I, for example, let's play a game.
Positive and negative.
Exactly, like the batteries. If you and I had launched a magazine in 1992
Vogue.
about the Bond lifestyle, you'd get a smattering of people connected to it. But because we've had social media, because we've had live streams and YouTubes and Instagram, and there's this constant barrage, people feel like they're a part of it. They can do it globally. You don't have to be in front of people or reading a physical magazine. So I think we've got to give a little bit of a nod, positive or negative to your point, to social media in that regard.
Yeah, I mean, when we got here, or no, probably when I came down yesterday before we left for our adventure for the day, I had on something very similar to the Connolly jacket.
Yeah.
And David saw it, and he's like, what is that? That is so nice. It's Banana Republic. Probably Banana Republic factory. And then to your point, I discovered it because somebody else on social media started seeing the behind the scenes Matera stuff
Yeah.
and thought, how can I find a cheaper version of this jacket? That's the power of social media. That's stuff that you couldn't do pre-social media. You'd have to kind of see it on film and then go hunt it down yourself. I didn't have to do any work. I saw it, ordered it, got it, and then here you and I are, people who do have a lot of the luxury stuff, and we're still like, that's a great item.
And it's one of these things where people, I think the sharing has created a feeling of
It's
community. Well done. Thank you for ending that cliche. But it's created a community of people that love to share information, love to share discovery.
Yeah.
And the discovery of the Bond lifestyle, whether it's food, locations, again, little moments that you can insert even at work. I started a series about Bond and business where I talk about what you can do at work to have these little Bond moments. And the reason I did that is because I think the discovery of the Bond lifestyle, because I'm going to give you, all right, story time, real quick. Friend of mine, AJ, you can go to sleep if you want. I'll wake you up. Over. Yes. He had told me ages ago, I don't really live the Bond lifestyle. I find it very fascinating. And I corrected him. I said, yes, you do, AJ. You do this, you do that. And I started pointing out things he did like Bond in his everyday life. And he's like, oh, I do. But what he was referring to is, I don't go to an Oliver Brown store. I don't drive an Aston Martin. My point being is that the surround sound that you create of the James Bond lifestyle is probably in your life anyway. Whether you want to amplify it or not or share it, that's really up to the engagements and the relationships you have.
Yeah. Well, back when I was doing the Blunt Instruments podcast, plug for an old show, our highest listened to episode was on Bond Mannerisms.
I remember that.
And you were in it.
I was
You were a guest on that. And it's funny to talk about because, yes, he, at the end of the day, is an assassin. And he is...
Misogynist?
Misogynist and
He's not really
notoriously a womanizer.
No.
But...
Disagree.
Well, I mean, should we release this and then rewrite it?
What do you mean?
Like the books.
Wow. I can't... So we're going there.
No, we're not.
This might have to be on your
channel
now.
No, we're not. No, but what I was going to say is...
No.
It is funny to talk about because, yes, the history of the character and blah, blah, blah. However, nobody would disagree that he is as gentlemanly as it can be with a lot
I see what you're
things.
saying. So he's got all these vices. He's an anti-hero. And at the same time, he is kind of the perfect guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's got the cool factor.
Yeah. I mean, I always picture the Casino Royale train scene. I just picture the two of them in this beautiful train, in this unbelievably high-class scene, and he's, pouring her wine. He knows how to pour it properly so that it doesn't drip.
He's got the little twirl.
Full suit and tie, just looks incredible. When she gets up to leave, he also stands up, just like little mannerisms.
Yes.
That, to me, is also the Bond lifestyle, and that's probably most important to me.
And that's not even a frugal Bond or going to a location. That costs nothing.
It's a conscious decision.
Yeah, that could be how you open a door. Do you open a door like Pierce Brosnan does in GoldenEye when he's on the Manicore, right? We all kind of open the door like that now. How do you adjust your cuffs? This is going to slide right back.
Yeah.
We all adjust our cuffs the same thing like Daniel Craig.
Shoot.
They kind of shoot the cuffs, if you will. So, all right, let's play this reindeer game. I'll play your little reindeer game. What Bond lifestyle moments have you picked up from watching the James Bond movie? And for now, let's stay out of fashion because we're going to get to style and stuff like that. And it could be mannerisms.
Mannerisms is my number one, 100%. I feel like my wife might think I'm pretty gentlemanly. She may or may not be very close.
You have moments, but I think you also have...
Well, no, it's like, okay, here.
Moments.
Okay, here. So we've been here... No. We've been here... Just shut up. We've been here for a few days. And
where?
Your property.
You've been here more than a few days. I found you asleep in the closet. I feel like you forgot the opening of the whole
video.
No,
I didn't, but I'm still trying to go with the facade that I just got here.
You did.
Not that I was living here.
That's true.
Yeah, I mean, where do you think I got this cardigan from?
Yeah.
I was cold. David's wife has made us several meals. So we were standing, and this is true story. We were standing in line, and you might think it's super minimal, but in my opinion, it's huge.
Okay.
We're standing in line. It goes, Brienne, me, you were, I don't know where, getting a drink or something. And Brienne was serving her food or getting herself food. And I was next to Brienne, and Danielle, David's beautiful wife, was standing behind me. And I backed up. I said, please. You know, as a man, she made the meal. She should be eating before anybody.
Oh, I see.
She slaved over this meal. She's been I mean, she was texting me 2 weeks ago asking, what do you guys want to have? Dietary restrictions. It's like, she made this great meal. Ladies should eat first.
Do you know who fixed their first plate?
David did. I didn't want to say it, but he was already halfway done with his meatball sub. I wasn't going to say it.
I'm hungry.
You see how I literally was like, David,
I'm hungry.
I literally, if you rewind this, I
You
go,
gotta
David
know
was already
when to not be Bond.
making himself a drink. See, I wasn't going to do that to you.
But you can, because
No.
we're having a very authentic conversation.
Well, I mean, it's things like that.
Yeah.
You know, holding the door open,
I hear you.
pouring the water at the table for everybody. You know, like if you see it's getting low and there's like a jug, you just
But
fill
that's
it.
perfect. So here we go, because this is the whole philosophy behind this, that you could be a gentleman and, you know, defer to the, you know, the women in the area like Bond does. And you did in a very natural setting. And now it's probably a part of who you are. You're not doing it to be like, I'm going to do a Bond moment. You're doing it because that's who Luke is.
Yeah.
Luke is a gentleman, and he's maybe learned incremental skills. You keep looking off, but nobody sees that.
My wife is sitting just to David's side.
Poor thing.
Can I add another?
We're going to keep going.
It was something. It's kind of a subconscious thing, but it's like just a heightened level of awareness of everything around you.
Oh, yes.
So,
that's a good
you know,
one.
I mean, yes, I did fall and eat total poop today walking up those steps.
Oh, that's because you're 82 years old.
Yeah, but aside from that, it's like I kind of like constantly am looking around to make sure like my wife's not going to trip on, you know, a raised piece of cement or a stick or
Or kind of a questionable character is going to come out.
yes, which I would just kind of
Frosty, staying
push her
frosty.
towards them
As a shield.
or take anything but my omega. Are we getting off topic now?
No, that's you're
Just
dead
the
on.
opposite.
No, I think
No, that
Bond-
is true.
Bond
Like
covers his
just like a
luxuries.
raised sense of awareness.
Yes,
I
would
think because
agree
I
with you.
feel it, and I will say this. This is also a completely true story.
Oh,
We went into a nostalgia store today,
you did.
and I was walking down the steps. Everybody else had already been ahead of me, and it's only 4 steps, but they were very steep and what seemed to be just not regulation
Did you
size.
fall down those? Too?
No,
Oh.
but I thought to myself, I wonder like if Daniel Craig came into this store, if he would just like fall. And I was like, I feel like he's way too cool and aware to just do something kind of dumb.
Well, I don't know if he might not fall, but Bond wouldn't fall.
Right. Okay. There you go.
But Daniel Craig falls a lot. He's been injured
and
in
like I said, I'll
every
admit,
movie.
I fell today,
You did,
and
but you recovered, and with a
yes.
lot of panache.
yeah.
And
Well, I'll
that's also
stand
very
up and I'll be
valuable.
like, what? Did something happen? Why do you guys? What happened? You know, I don't. And it's like I don't get embarrassed.
By the way, this is not a blunt instrument. We can't talk over each other because it'll
Did I
run
do that?
havoc with it. No.
Oh, okay.
No,
But no,
it's
I mean, seriously, I did think that. I was like, I wonder like if like some super suave celebrity or James Bond, of course, would like just eat crap down these stairs.
Possibly.
But it's like, you want to know why they don't?
Why?
They just take an extra second to evaluate every situation, no matter how minor.
That's true.
That's kind of my overall point. Even with just filling the water or letting the lady go first, it's just like slows everything down and just really evaluates how to behave in a situation.
Yeah, and I feel like too, like one of the
that,
things
YouTube.
I've taken from the Bond lifestyle that again doesn't cost anything is when you travel is to eat local. You know, to kind of make sure, and it's a very Fleming thing, but to eat local, to appreciate the local aspects. So many people fall back on habits.
Yes.
And certainly with dietary restrictions, you've got to play within, you know, your own world that you can play in, but also experiencing the culture of a new place and embracing it. There's so much fear that goes on in the world with other cultures. Instead of doing that, be like Bond. immerse yourself in the culture, become invisible to the culture.
Chameleon.
And it's a Bond lifestyle moment, but people, again, they talk about fabrics and they talk about sunglasses, and that's all fine, and I've got a whole channel dedicated to that. But there's so many other aspects of the Bond lifestyle, which I think, again, makes it so popular.
Yeah, I mean, I think No Time to Die is a good example of, when we see Bond kind of living retirement lifestyle, how he's kind of adopted, the lifestyle. He's drinking
example.
rum, and he's got like an old beat up car that, may or may not be a Land Rover, but still it's, he's kind of just a local, and he's not trying to change anything. He's just adapting to his new situation.
By the way, the fact that he settles in Jamaica versus London or some other place in Chelsea, it's telling.
Yeah.
All right. So let's flip this a little bit, because there's people out here right now that probably do
Should we switch seats?
follow. We could, but that's a little overt. The Bond experience, the Bond lifestyle. But let's dovetail to, of course, the inevitable idea of, when you think Bond lifestyle, and I'll start with an example. You do think of style, accessories, fashion. I'm going to be heading, I don't know if you heard, I'm going to be heading to Goldeneye with some friends, Jamaica. And already we're talking about, all right, I'm going to be bringing this, you don't bring that, we can't cross over. But one of the things I've really loved that you've done with the Bond lifestyle is you've taken a brand, you've taken a look, and you've said, now I'm going to put it through the grinder of what is Luke like? Because I'm not James Bond, I'm Luke. And come out the other side, you still connect to these wonderful brands and looks, but you've got your own color palette. So where does that stem from?
So
I love that.
I think that stems from a couple things. It stems from being, I guess, self-aware enough to know that I am not Daniel Craig, and I don't look anything like Daniel Craig. We even talked today, I might actually be slightly taller than Daniel Craig, which is nice to know.
It's true. You are.
But it's just, oddly enough, right behind us here is kind of a almost a storyboard sketch of Daniel Craig in the Sunspell Riviera polo, and he looks incredible. And I was thinking, why do my shoulders not look like that? But it's like, the thing is, it's kind of like, I may see him in certain things and think, wow, he looks fantastic. Same with Pierce Brosnan or any of the Bonds. But doesn't necessarily mean it's going to look great on me. And then the other aspect is financially. I want to buy things and spend my money on things that I know I'm going to wear all the time.
Yes.
I don't, even like I said, with COVID for 2 years, I was working from home. But even now that I'm back in the office, nobody is wearing suits. So yes, I love the Mexico City suit, but I do not need to go buy the Mexico City suit. So that's where I would be like, you know what, maybe I'll just stick with something like a Sunspell polo.
Yeah.
And then, yes, he wears the navy blue in the film, but they've got many colors. My wife even said earlier she likes the gray on me better than the navy blue. And I personally like the color gray or white or black. So I will just stick with a brand I really like and then kind of start to see what else they offer.
So what I'm hearing from you, and I love this. This is exactly what I wanted to get into this conversation, is you take Bond and the Bond lifestyle as a template.
Yeah.
And then you insert certain data points that are Luke Taggart. In that template, and out the other side, you still kind of have that Bond essence, but you're also being very true to yourself.
Exactly.
You're not macking a character. And I think that's why, and I've said this in other discussions with you, but I want people to hear this about the Bond lifestyle. The Bond lifestyle does not have to mean film accuracy.
Yes.
It doesn't mean cosplay. It could be about having that essence and that template and inserting who you are. And I think you've done that very successfully.
Thank you. I appreciate that. You as
true.
well. Well, I mean, even he may or may. I
I
mean,
seem to be a little on the
what are you
nose
wearing
with
right
lots
now?
of- I'm wearing an Oliver Brown waffle weave top.
And what film is that in?
It's not an edit.
Exactly. Say
I see
less.
your point.
Well, no, I mean,
What?
but you really like the brand. So
do
you
like the
started to
brand.
explore what else they offer. You're not sitting
I
here
did.
thinking, I only want to buy
No.
the Dr. No polo and nothing else.
Mea culpa. Mea culpa. That's true.
Yeah.
I do
Who are you
find
talking to? Who's
I
over
do
there?
find that the people out there's a whole audience
He's
of
like,
dead people.
that's true.
No, but I see what you're saying. I mean, and yes, so probably like 8 times out of 10, I'm not wearing a Bond dead on
I would
grouping of
yeah.
different things. And
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I wore a whole screen accurate Bond
I feel like
outfit.
you really, honestly, I think you only do it in public in a suit. I don't
That's
think
true.
I've ever seen you like wear the whole Connolly Gabino jacket outfit
No.
like to the mall.
Or I'm looking right now like the Armani from Casino Royale with the Ted Baker pants, for example. But all right. So see, I love that you're I said, certain ideas of the Bond lifestyle philosophy, which is we only need a whiff, an
Yeah.
essence of Bond. We don't need to be tsunamied. We don't need a huge wave of all these things of Bond. We can just have it sort of like in our life.
Plant the seed.
Plant the seed.
And then everything
Grows
kind of
from there.
Yeah.
Sprouts.
Stems.
And other cliches
Roots.
that we could use. I love it, man. Thank you.
Yes.
I just wanted to explore this with a friend. And by the way, this video, although not highly produced in any way,
That was fantastic.
what was you say?
I thought it was fantastic.
It was fantastic. Is just a comfortable conversation, and one that, by the way, even if the video wasn't running, you and I would probably have.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah, we've had it.
We've had it.
Yeah.
We've really had it with
But
this.
I feel like we discover new things all the time with what
Well, that's
qualifies. Is that even a good word to say?
sure. I don't know what you mean by it.
Well, for Bond lifestyle.
Oh,
But even still,
yeah.
it's like qualify implies that there are kind of a set of guidelines, and I just really don't think there
And there
is.
is no handbook. Although, how incredible of a book. If someone wrote a Bond lifestyle book that you could go and it ran the gamut, how incredible would that be?
Well, it's funny you say that, David, because on January 3rd, 2037, the book The Bond Lifestyle by Luke and David will not be coming out. But we'll talk about it more.
Everybody was
between
hanging on that.
2036 didn't throw him off at all.
You know what would be amazing if we actually... What year did you say would come out?
2036? 2034?
2034? Dude, I'm going to be dead by then. Do you
13
know my
years.
age? No, I will have been eaten by a shark by then.
Yeah. It's a cool way to go. It's another way to die.
By the way, the Bond lifestyle is also connected to how I'm unfortunately going to perish, which is shark attack.
You've told me that.
I've told my wife that. I'm not kidding, a year after I met my wife, we got into this weird conversation about, I don't know why, but how we don't want to perish. And I said, the most horrifying thing to me would be to be eaten by a monster like a shark. And I said, you know what? That's it. That's how I'm going to go.
That's nuts. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
So you asked me for my top Bond lifestyle thing, and I said
yeah.
mannerisms. What's yours?
My top Bond lifestyle thing that I've taken from the films is honestly just an essence of being cool under pressure. When things are just exploding around you, that includes work and family, just
Buildings.
being the person in the room that isn't freaking out.
Yeah.
And when people come at you, and that's going to happen in life, happens in Bond, just being the calm one and being smile and just, that's Bond.
I like that.
So
I feel
that's-
like I kind of do that. Do I do that?
Yeah.
You weren't
Who was
supposed
that?
You weren't supposed to talk.
Who is that?
Now get out. See, Bond.
No,
Sean Connery would
I don't
love
think
that.
Bond.
Just kidding. Guys, come on.
Now I have to edit that
It's
ending.
just a joke.
Let's take that again.
I love you. I was talking to David.
My gosh. Well, Luke, thanks so much.
Thank you for wearing socks.
We'll see this. If this is this bad? They're clean.
No, I just
Is it
like
bad?
so many times I wanted to come down from upstairs without socks, and I'm like, you can't do that.
Who said
Somebody
that?
else's home.
Oh, you could take.
It
off
is
your
his
socks.
house. You can wear whatever.
Bond. There has a lot of moments where Bond doesn't wear socks. Just FYI.
Yeah. Yeah.
And on that, I would like to thank my special guest, Luke Taggart, from Bond's Apartment. Go check him out.
Thank you, David.
You're on Instagram. You're on YouTube.
That's it. Bondsapartment.com for all your merch needs. I think I make about a sale a decade. So check it out.
You can get really special pillows though with Luke's
Yeah,
face on
you
it.
can. Oh,
Can you get a body pillow?
I'll look into it.
Please don't. And this has been David Zritzi for the Bond Experience. We'll see you all real soon. Cheers. Take care. Thanks for watching this episode. If you want to be up on the latest from the Bond experience, just click on this subscribe and subscribe to our channel. You're going to get all the latest and greatest information, plus some exclusive content. And by the way, speaking of content, here's something especially for you, just because we know you. Talk to you soon.